what does this have to do with Spider-Man?
Ferris Bueller,
Ferris Bueller. He races away from a pedophile. Jeffrey Jones got away with all his crimes.
That's true. It puts a whole new angle on that movie.
No one leaves his cheese in the wind. That is a long Ferris Bueller reference to get the YouTube player ready. So we can talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. Welcome. You are going to be part of a live Laser Time podcast. This will be a little more refined later on next Monday as the second segment to a show about, well, largely about Spider-Man, but this is going to be all of our spoiler talk. I'm Chris.
Hey, it's Henry.
Hey, it's Bob.
That's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo joining us, and I cannot believe, well, we'll get into that in one moment, but hang tight. We've been having some sound issues. Tell us in the chat. It's really stupid, and let's all shame XSplit later, but I have to mute the microphones, and then we're fine.
Hey, we're already at 13 viewers.
Hey, look at that. Well, can
it's
you
not
throw
even in the page yet. I'm about to put it in the page.
Well, it's live. We should have sent out. We sent it out over our Twitter.
Yes, people should know. But hey, everybody,
magically, can you not pull up the chat?
I'm so close.
Okay.
1 second.
I recommend OBS for all those listening.
This is the last straw because since we're in our preamble, XSplit, the program we use to stream out, reverted itself to a 2-year-old version, the one that was the most broken, that we had technicians for XSplit helping us personally with, that we can never fix. We updated it. It reverted itself back to that. We got stream images up from 2 years ago. The new problems appeared. They're unfixable, and I tried deleting and uninstalling twice, and it keeps all the memory in the cache.
Well, OBS will not betray you.
And I had to ask them, like, how the fuck do you uninstall your program? Oh, yeah, you're going to need an uninstaller for that. Like,
you need a special
guys.
An uninstaller. I mean,
an uninstaller.
I mean,
Can
come
you
on,
believe it?
guys.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
See, Henry, I need Henry here
Control
to
V,
chat
right.
to chat Spider-Man with us.
Time to hit update. Yes, baby. All right, it is
there we
now
are.
on the page, and then I'll open up.
And we will eventually get the chat pulled up real
Yes,
quick. But long
sorry.
story short, I really like the movie, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. Hold on, hang on, everybody, because we're gonna have to start the show, the podcast, because more of you are gonna listen than ever watch this. Just the way it is.
All right, let's see that.
Pop that shit out. Control plus that bullshit.
All right.
Full screen it.
Full screen it. It's been a while. I'm so used to Dave being the person on this. There we go. Brett's at a job, guys. Sorry, Tom Dawson.
They get in the way.
Yeah, Brett doesn't have the time to do this, and thanks.
He does not. What is up, Todd Harrison?
Egon's complimenting our shirts. Do they recognize
Daniel
shirts?
posted on the Facebook page. Thank you, buddy. I forgot to do that.
And actually, since I'll mention this to the viewers here before we do the true thing, this is a perfect Spider-Man Homecoming combo because this is actually an Iron Man polo shirt here.
Is it really?
There's
No
the
idea.
arc reactor there and the pattern. This isn't HD enough. You can't tell the little arc reactors. But
Zoom and enhance if you're at home.
Phil the guy saying, "Wow, Bob Mackey."
It is a wow Bob Mackey moment, and
me.
I cannot wait to talk to you about this because you are such a fucking MCU virgin.
Yeah.
Hang on, guys. We're gonna reset and pretend we're starting the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining
But
us.
this is Spoiler Town.
This is
You see
mad
it on the
spoiler
screen.
territory. So hang on. And let us know if our sound starts degrading, because then I can do a little bit of this. And it should be fine. So keep the chat going. We want to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we really like the movie. So this is me resetting into the second segment of the second or third segment of the podcast. It's not Mob Backy, Phil. It's Bob Smacky. Jesus. All right, resetting. Welcome back to the Laser Time Show. How was that magic, people watching? The 35 lucky viewers. We're doing a live review reaction right now on YouTube. But yeah, we're in Spoiler Town for Spider-Man Homecoming. We're fresh from the movie. I just saw it, and I don't know. I didn't think there was any room left in my heart to love a Spider-Man movie because of how much. Just 3 was disappointing. Oh, 1 was boring as shit, and 2 was just like, you don't know what you're doing.
Oh,
Let go of this
Amazing 1 and Amazing 2.
Yeah,
yes,
Amazing 1 and 2 were just like, this is so bad.
Oh yeah. Now this is my new favorite Spider-Man movie. It's replaced
6
number
times
2.
a charm.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2 was my old favorite. Now this is my new favorite. It was really, really good. I liked it. It gave me everything I wanted from a Spider-Man movie that I didn't think I wanted. And even with the promise of what we saw in Civil War, this expanded on it big time.
Yep.
And
No Todd Harrison, none of the previous Peter Parkers come together at the end and have a wicked dance party. But what this did feel like to me is the fun injected that Dan Slott injected into the Spider-Man comic, and that's what I hated about Amazing Spider-Man. Like, Bob, what happens to Peter's uncle?
He is in the Phantom Zone.
All right, but most people fucking know.
I really don't. He gets murdered or something.
They did the origin story, a prolonged version of that we already saw in movie theaters 5 years ago, or like 7 years ago. They didn't bother with that. It was like brand new day. Like you know who this character is.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago. We saw. Martin Sheen get murdered as Uncle Ben after we'd seen him get murdered before in 2002.
Yeah.
In a movie every human on Earth saw except for Bob, then they do it again, and so this time they're like. I loved the bit of the best you hear about his origin is that Ned just asked him like, "So you were bit by a spider?" Yeah,
the spider's dead. Don't worry about it.
Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. Why wasn't Jason Alexander Uncle Ben? Come on.
Who's to say he's not in some flashback? We'll see.
That would be great.
Avenge me! I want that.
Getting uncomfortable here.
Yeah, it's all that just a trusting even the mainstream audience to understand who the character is. We don't need an origin story. He didn't even get an origin story as far as the Todd Holland character.
I mean, I was
going
to ask. So I'm a freak, by the way. I've never seen a Marvel movie outside of Guardians of the Galaxy
or Blade.
I've never seen a Spider-Man movie until today. In the movie he was in prior to this one, which was not the Spider-Man movie, did they go over any of his origins or anything like that? Yeah,
no,
not at all.
And they brush it off in a second, and I like that.
And they show alternate cuts that he's filming on his camera, like that. Those were all things like that were bombastically big,
right.
And you're seeing this neat little behind-the-scenes kid take of it, and that to me is the most important thing. Having only recently finished Brian Michael Bendis, who's credited at the end of the credits, his Ultimate Spider-Man run. That was Marvel bringing Spider-Man back to high school. And I didn't realize that's what attracted me to Spider-Man. That his problems. Not only do I think as an adult it makes for a more interesting character that he's juggling both these things. He was easier to relate to, and that Spider-Man should always feel like a younger character.
No, this was the youngest a Spider-Man had looked like. Even though I found out Tom Holland is 21, so I don't feel creepy for checking him out in it. I found that out.
Hank. Attaboy.
But second,
that's another thing. No, go ahead. Sorry.
But he looks the youngest. Like Tobey Maguire, when I watch it, he doesn't look that young. When I see Andrew Garfield in high school in the movies, in the previous ones, with like Emma Stone, who's like 30.
Yeah.
Just like, no, you played a high schooler 10 years earlier in Superbad.
Alex Moen says, watch Spider-Man 1 afterwards, and I clearly like that one
more.
Well,
so yeah, Alex Moen is saying they didn't like it as much because it was for MCU devotees only, and
I felt a little bit of that, actually.
I loved that. I love that because that's the only edge they had with that. If they're going to reboot Spider-Man for the third time, they're going to have a new first Spider-Man movie, then they need to lounge around in the Avengers and be like, yeah, this is MCU.
I mean, I made some educated guesses as to what they were talking about and what happened, but after a certain point, I was like, did they start the movie a real too late? It felt like we were on episode 3 of a 13-episode series.
Chad was asking about, like, is it the first Marvel movie Cold Open? No,
yeah,
probably not.
I was shocked that Michael Keaton gets the first word in the movie, and that it takes place.
He was great.
So, Bob, it takes place right after the big fight at the end of the first Avengers film,
which was 8 years ago.
It does.
Yes.
It technically takes place in 2019, according to its timeline.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, but anyway,
but it was 8 years ago in our time that first movie came out, right? 2009.
It just feels like 20.
Okay.
Yeah, and that so it connects it from the beginning to the Avengers, which that was the big. It's the boring business thing about it, but it was that Sony always was like, no, these are Sony films. These are Sony films. We don't need Marvel.
Yeah, we'll have our own Spider-Man universe with Jess Venom and Dr. Octopus, and Iron Man can't come.
And this time, like Avi Arad, the piece of shit who no longer makes Spider-Man movies,
he's in the credits.
He'll always be. Yeah. That's Hollywood for you. But he said in an interview, like, we don't. If we ever need Avengers, then we've given up and we've run out of ideas. We don't.
They're real assholes about it. Like we have because Spider-Man is the crown jewel of the Marvel Empire. So for him to not be involved with stuff, that's why the opening, the cold open, and they didn't show the MCU logo, and then they did, and it was just an orchestral version of the Spider-Man theme with the Marvel logo. I didn't think that would mean anything to me, but it really did.
It was really something to hear the Spider-Man theme. So the Spider-Man theme had been in all the previous Spider-Man movies, but always was like one-off jokes. Like in fucking Amazing 2, it was a ringtone, which really confused me. It's like, wait, So does the Spider-Man theme song exist in that world and he made it his ringtone? Because like it doesn't work. In this one, they're like a big orchestral thing. I just read a thing about it that the director wanted that. He's like, no, we open with that. And it was really good too because MCU sucks at themes. Iron Man and Cap and Hulk technically have themes.
I was hoping that would be his theme or some variation on it. Instead, his theme was very boring and not really fitting of the character. It was too like majestic and soaring, but he's just like a kind of clumsy.
They hired Captain Gennaro,
guy,
Oscar-winning winner Michael Giacchino. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but it's just that he scores everything. And there's tons of videos out there to explain why the Marvel scores are so fucking boring.
Yeah,
and that's temp scores for the most part. Chad is saying Keaton's Vulture is the one true Vulture and the best villain so far.
Yeah, I have to say I really was impressed by that. It was weird. I was actually thinking of Batman because he's pulling a real Jack Nicholson performance in this movie.
It is funny that Batman of 1989 has now become the Jack Nicholson of 1989. He's aged into
We've lived a long time.
Yeah, it's just like, is that it?
And I will say,
that it?
Some of the I could have done with less Iron Man.
Yeah, I was glad there was less than it. The trailers and posters all made you want to think that this is Iron Man 4, not Spider-Man.
And I did want to see that.
And there were a couple moments where I thought in the movie, like, this feels like Marvel Studios big-timing Sony to have it be clear, like, Iron Man's a better hero than Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, I'm sorry, Iron Man, I wish it was as cool as you. Like that. And also, speaking of big timing, like, I noticed that Sony, Columbia, then Marvel Studios. It felt very much like Sony was like, no, this is a Sony film. We are making this with Marvel Studios, but this is Sony.
I don't know why they keep doing that. That makes literally fucking no sense. Because like every time we see a Paramount movie, it doesn't open with Viacom. We get it. You own Columbia Pictures. It's underneath Columbia.
Sony is much more full of himself. So, Doc on is saying one guy at my theater screamed out loud for 1 minute straight at the shock that Vulture was Liz's father. That was a big shock.
I saw it coming.
To me.
I don't know why.
I did not.
I don't know why.
So this is why it got me as a Spider-Man fan, is because she calls Liz. In Spider-Man's first appearance, they introduced his first girlfriend possibility, which is Liz Allen. And so they introduce her, and she's Liz. I'm like, okay, that's Liz Allen. So with no reason would I think Liz Allen is the daughter of Toomes, Adrian Toomes, which is Vulture's name in the movie. But they never say Liz Allen. They say Liz.
For me, I read a spoiler. On accident in a fucking shitty headline of a goddamn clickbaity article.
Fuck your headlines.
And again, there's a spoiler, but it was a spoiler. It's like the secret Easter egg behind the MJ reference. I'm like, I hope I don't get that. So the minute I saw a silent girl, like that's or sorry, she was an unnamed girl, because the second they named Liz, I'm like, she's dead. Yeah. This is a sacrificial Peter Parker crush.
Well, I like that she didn't die, and Spider-Man didn't
other
kiss
girl
anybody the entire
constantly around him, and so she's not gonna get killed, but she has to be involved with the villain somehow, because she's going to need to go away.
I can think of maybe one reason they didn't kiss, but I won't go into it here.
Well, that's it was.
I'm not white genocide.
I'm not kidding. I was looking at the film as a giant Spider-Man fan. I'm like, this is the most multicultural fucking take on these characters ever.
I was joking about hashtag white genocide. By the way.
Yes.
And I'm surprised there was not more stink. Like Mary Jane should be in this movie. He needs to be dating a white woman.
Well, nobody knew. That's just been revealed now. We've given it a couple of days, Bob.
So a year ago, actually, the rumors were starting that Zendaya, she's a Disney
single
kid,
name Disney kid.
She was going to be Mary Jane, and there were hashtag white genocide things about it, because
so that already happened.
But honestly, if you're a white nationalist, I mean, Mary Jane's a redhead, so she's a ginger, meaning a less pure white person.
Hey, so they constantly move those goalposts.
I know, but so there actually was performative anger at the making her not white. But her name is Michelle, not Mary, so she is MJ, but she's not exactly Mary.
One guy at my theater screamed out loud for 1 minute straight at the shock of the vulture as her father.
Jordan points out Sony sponsored the decathlon event. I did not see that.
What?
But yes,
and I love their Flash Thompson, John. I really did.
Something. Flash does have some good points.
Because that's how old we all are. We were talking about like
we are all double the age of the audience.
I know. We were talking about like kid movies the other day, and how like even like most kids aren't even forced into sports anymore. The idea of like Flash Thompson being a giant jock is so fucking hack and cliched. It almost can't happen. Him being like an Indian fucking genius rival to Peter Parker Bob, is awesome.
I just assumed he was a new character.
That was a major change. Flash Thompson from Spider-Man's first appearance in Amazing Fantasy 15.
That dude is literally Venom now.
He is in his original appearance. He was the redheaded big man on campus who was the quarterback, and he always taunted Peter Parker.
His name was unironically Flash now,
and he was definitely a white dude. Now in this one, he is just. He's like, I'm going to bully you, but I'm also on the
But he's the understudy to Peter in the fucking academic club.
Yeah, I mean, I have a question for you guys. Please. Not looking at this movie as a movie-ass movie, not as a Spider-Man movie. I enjoyed it. The one thing I was curious about, because I didn't get it, like, what was Peter Parker's journey? I feel like he didn't have to learn anything.
No, he
didn't necessarily, there was a shot in the movie where it's like you have to be something outside of being Spider-Man, but like how did that happen to him? I don't understand.
Because I know what you're talking about, but to me that's why what's so interesting about the Marvel films is that it transcends the need to make a normal digestible movie. And that's why I was worried about your experience, because it comes with baggage from 11 other films.
Yes, but my thing was I think they pretended something meaningful happened where he's like, I saw a reflection of my costume and then I believed in myself and then I got stronger. And I mean, they needed a reason to get him out of that.
Okay, that scene, I got to
Bob is an MCU virgin, has not seen shit. I do want your perspective on this.
It felt unearned. It felt like they were saying, oh, this moment happened and it should be significant.
Well,
we didn't.
Dude, they repeated Robert Downey Jr.'s dialogue
by having that dialogue.
But it was meaningless to me.
I get it. I've noticed.
All right, so look, he took... Tony Stark took away the suit, and then he realized the power was inside me all along.
Oh, really?
It's a lame journey, but it was it. But I will tell you, as a Spider-Man fan, first off,
and he won without the fancy toot. Yes, DC.
First off, in the reflection, he's getting the half Spidey face, which is a classic Spider-Man look. Whenever his spider sense would go off,
and he's out of the costume, you see half of the.
Second, him getting out from under that is the most important Spider-Man scene ever in Spider-Man comics. So fuck you. But no,
I just bought a ticket to a movie. I didn't expect that.
No, sorry. But in Amazing Spider-Man 33, he gets buried under almost that exact shit.
Okay.
And then he has what would become the archetypal Spider-Man scene of I can't let Aunt May down. I just can't. I know I can. And then he lifts it off the same
Can't
way.
let down the hottest Aunt May of all time.
But it is Steve Ditko. It is the ultimate Spider-Man scene. I will show it to you. But so
down
for
to
me,
the Stanley
seeing that
dialogue.
scene, I could not think of that scene. It was made for me. But you're right. It has to speak to people who haven't read 1,000 Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's a movie, and believing in yourself is how most things are solved in movies.
You were in a crazy minority here, though.
I realize that.
Of like you didn't even see the Spider-Man cartoon. No comics.
I'm just asking for a movie to make sense, though.
It's not that it makes sense. I think what you're saying is that it's unearned in a singular movie.
Just like, well, we need him to believe in himself and to overcome something, so let's just give him.
No, we needed Iron Man to appear.
But I said I enjoyed the movie. It was the one thing I just felt was contrived.
Because it is funny, and I kind of every time I rewatch a Marvel movie, I cringe a little bit at the humor because it's very tertiary. It's very like. Are you having trouble being sincere and focusing, Marvel, that you need to just break it up with a dumb joke?
Especially felt like they had to be like, no, we need like 10 minutes extra jokes here. Let's like I remember in the scene where he made up with his girlfriend or his not girlfriend, it was like, okay, this is a stirring scene. Oh, but the cape needs to do something funny. This is let's be funny. But humor fits way better with Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man.
Can Miles Morales have a fat Asian friend now? Or that'd be sort of weird. Yeah, Egon. I don't. That is fucking Genki from the Ultimate Universe, but it's not.
But
it's
his name is Ned. I wonder if he is Ned Leeds.
But I've never seen a human being with no costume look more like a comic book counterpart, and they changed his name.
And yeah, I agree. Awkward loser. Stan Lee's hammy dialogue was perfect.
Yeah,
it's hard not to think about I
thought that was a great Stan Lee cameo.
Of his wife recently.
I got 2 gifts today. Spider-Man came out in theaters, and that bitch is gone.
No, he was married to her for 70 years.
Yeah, I guess it is weird to hear Stan Lee hitting on another woman a day after his real
unbelievable Stan.
And but also like in his Guardians cameo, he was sitting down. I was like, good. Stan Lee should only have to sit down.
I'm sorry I didn't grab your name when it popped up, but someone pointed out there are technically 5 villains in here. And
yes,
I did like because Spider-Man has the best loser villains
He
in
has,
the universe.
He has so few that can lead a film. Like, that's what happened in Amazing 2. They're like, oh, we can have Electro. And then halfway through, they're like, we really need Green
that
Goblin.
first Shocker appearance, I'd like,
Yeah.
oh god, that guy's jacket.
The
That's
guy's
fucking
jacket,
hilarious.
And then he gets immolated, and then the other guy becomes him.
You're Bokeem. You're the next Shocker.
Yeah, well, so yeah,
that was
it
Bokeem
is-
Woodbine, right?
Yeah,
Love that
Woodbine.
name.
He was the Shocker, and there was also Adrian Toomes, and there was also the Prowler.
Sorry, John.
Technically, Donald Glover was the Prowler, but not really. And the guy making the stuff for the Vulture
Tinkerer.
was the Tinkerer.
Were they just throwing him a bone because of all the talk, I don't know, 9
Yes.
years ago of like,
Yes.
he should be Spider-Man, and people were very afraid of that idea. And
Oh,
Getter Prowler's
Glover.
in there. Aaron is Prowler. But he's also Miles Morales' uncle. That was a quick aside, but that's if
Yeah.
they don't want to do Miles Morales. I don't think they want to Spider-Man in the Homecoming
you would think
verse.
that, and then we saw the E3 trailer, and in the E3 trailer, that's Miles at the end of the trailer, who is
Prowler's not exactly a villain. That's true, Getter. Yeah.
that's who they wanted Donald Glover to play at
Well,
the end of the E3 Sony
So
trailer.
yeah,
Oh,
a
you didn't see it.
million. But yes, like in 2005, there was the No, 2009.
Not Donald Glover's too old. Jesus.
Yeah,
yeah, he's way too old now.
In the campaign for casting Amazing 1, they're like, Donald Glover should be it. And Donald Glover has an amazing stand-up routine where he basically
That's right.
meets Gamergate beforehand. They're just like, "Oh, we're just gonna make him black now. That's what we're just gonna do. That's what we're gonna do." So him being in this is kind of a callback to that, and him saying he has a nephew there in the Ultimate Spider-Man
It's fucking
comics.
beautiful.
Miles Morales' uncle is a criminal who gets
And
killed.
as I told Henry, I was watching Adult Swim this Sunday. Donald Glover's in the fucking commercial saying that line.
That's
like,
a pretty shitty line to put in there.
Why?
I
Why would
not-
you do that?
Because it doesn't pay off with seeing
It doesn't
Miles
pay
in
off,
it,
and I
but-
guess like if you don't know a lot about Spider-Man, you won't understand that. But that was a cool moment you could have saved.
Yeah.
Because it's not like there was anything else. They showed Captain America in almost every Iron Man scene in all of their promotional materials, and I really could have
Almost
done
every
it without Iron Man in general, just because he was so fucking Jiminy Cricket
Yeah.
the whole
yeah,
time.
I didn't like.
You shouldn't do that, Spidey. No.
him saving Spider-Man that often.
Yeah, but I wanted Spider-Man to have more agency, but maybe that also is kind of the arc of him, that he gets saved by Iron Man twice, and then he's finally like, I need help, somebody help me, and then no one's there to help him, then he finds his strength within. I'm not saying it's
But,
a dense story or complex.
Someone in the
but-
chat said the arc was him winning over or like winning the trust of Iron Man, but my question is, as someone who didn't see the other
To what
movies,
end?
is what is the connection there? Why is he a father figure? Why does Peter Parker want?
I don't know,
this guy
but
to
because
believe
the
in
way
him
the
or trust
MCU
him.
has reshaped the Marvel canon, it really is. At the point when Spider-Man's suit became a Mark Spider, or basically the Iron Spider outfit.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tony Stark is too responsible for too much shit in this universe.
Well-
he now made Vision and Ultron
So
and
what I like about that is that it makes the MCU as an alternate dimension of the beginning
yeah.
in the Marvel multiverse. It began with Iron Man, so thematically he should be central to everything because he is the first hero of that world.
So for me, Bob, I got a kick out of like, please take that suit away. I don't want Spider-Man to be Iron Man. That's not fun.
Well, I'm glad he turned it down.
And one of the coolest scenes in the movie, in my opinion, in the comics, I've joked about this for years, but how useless Spider-Man is, or how immobile he is when he's outside of a city. And just that first time he gets, like the second time he gets to be Spider-Man, he's stuck in the burbs. And he's like, this sucks!
Yeah,
This sucks!
I'm glad he turned on the ugly costume at the end, but I would have liked to see more of him just doing regular crime fighting. The montage was nice, but
The
that was like
opening montage was
that's
fun.
still
the most
more
charming
than
part of it.
That's
I
still
did-
more than an amazing one.
Yeah.
I did want more of that. I liked when I saw that cat introduced. I was like, he's gonna save that cat. I just know it, and he did. He literally.
That's true.
It is a screenwriting term. Save the cat.
Sid Field.
Yeah, and Spider-Man literally saves the cat. You write that in a script to be like, I saved the cat. Get it? You know he's a good guy.
Can we talk about how great Hannibal Buress was with like 4 lines of
That
dialogue?
was so fucking awesome.
That was great.
I
He's
love
like a
that.
war criminal or something.
Whatever.
I got it. Like them.
was so-
All the casting in that movie was like my favorite side characters in the best comedies on television.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Martin
Broad
Starr
City's
was in
Hannibal
it.
Buress, Martin
Martin
Starr,
Starr was so fucking
Martha
great.
from Baskets. If you had not seen Baskets,
Yeah.
she's fucking hilarious on that
Yeah.
show. She's the tour guide in the Washington Monument, which someone had just commented about the slave.
The other thing
That was
I,
so great that like. Eh.
The other thing I have to call attention to is I'm just kind of sick of movies being like, oh, this is the song song we use for this kind of a scene. It's just like they're going to the country. We're gonna go to the country,
just so you know where we're going.
Just like, okay, play that for 20 seconds, and then Blitzkrieg Bob. Of course, I'm like, do you have to use this song?
My big problem with that is because everybody knows there's two popular Spider-Man themes. One of them is the Ramones.
Ramones famously did a Spider-Man cover.
Yeah.
But the Blitzkrieg Bop, I'll give it this plus. Unlike Tony Hawk, they didn't mute, shoot him in the back.
Yeah.
They kept in that line.
And that end credit sequence was one of my favorite things that I'd ever
that was
seen.
cool. I
thought that was gorgeous.
Make a movie like this.
Yes, yeah.
But Doc Ock brings up a good point. What I really liked was he said, like, I don't want to give up ground level stuff. It was very ground level. His big save at the end is major. Like, he stops the plane from crashing. But that's what Thor would have done in the opening.
Yeah.
Like, he's in the beginning, he's eating a sandwich and
he
saving
would have
a
flicked
bike.
a bolt of lightning and,
Yeah.
and taken a plane down. And that's the wonderful and weird difference in the Marvel Comics and the cinematic universe. Marvel Comics started out like every power is the result of like the atomic age or space. And everything here is the result of technology, or, which I'm kind of tired of, the what are they called? God damn it, the Chitauri.
Oh, the Chitauri, yeah.
Like,
that tech is in every Netflix show.
That is the whole premise of Luke Cage. So you know those people are not talking. Making weapons.
Copperhead got the same idea that Vulture did.
Yeah,
it's
like
the same deal.
And like how like there was a second Avengers movie. How long can we see this fallout of the first Avengers movie?
It sounds like a contract was signed that like you can take stuff in the first Avengers movie, but they did have the Ultron head. That was cute. They had little stuff from the other movies.
They did, and I do wonder because that character created for Tony Stark's Department of Damage Control seemed way too important to appear in so few scenes. So that'll probably be a character we see again.
Well, there was talk of a Damage Control TV show, but I don't think it happened, partially because basically DC did that this year and it got canceled. But I want to talk about that costume. I wore the shirt out of all my Spider-Man shirts because I thought that the Amazing 2 suit was the best one ever, and I love the giant eyes, but this made the smaller eyes work so much better. And though it wasn't ripped straight from the page, it felt like the most true to the spirit of the Spider-Man costume I've ever seen.
It wasn't afraid to be colorful.
It was so colorful. I love that.
I think it took Deadpool to like. Deadpool's like, yeah, my eyes just move. Go fuck yourself.
I did really like that, how his eyes move.
And so once people stop questioning, it's just like, yeah, Spider-Man's eyes move.
I could get the idea that like the lenses on there are attached to his eyes, so what his
even
eyes
his shitty goggles do it.
Yes,
and
I get it. It's dumb, but I liked it.
I love it. But I think that's the point. I love seeing that on screen, and it's the best Spider-Man I've seen on screen because the third Spider-Man Sam Raimi Spider-Man tried to make the compromise of like, when you watch 1 and 2, it is just you're watching a CG cartoon, and they have to rip Tobey Maguire's mask off to let you know there is a human inside this costume because it really doesn't look like it because the camera's just unleashed. And every scene in it is like Spider-Man fucking up. I love. Oh
wow! Sorry, you finished that thought. I just saw another Easter egg I was shocked by. Jordan says Peter's principle was so clearly supposed to be something, but even I didn't match it. But he's saying that he is the grandson of one of the Howling Commandos who worked for Cap in the first Cap movie.
There was a black and white picture of some army dude in his
actor?
office, which was the same guy.
It's the same actor, which he should say like, "Oh, I look just like my grandfather."
Here's a list of people you can have: Iron Man, Captain America, and
So you guys are Spider-Man experts. You know, you're supposed to identify with him because he's like a teenager or whatever, and we're all man babies. But is he also the smartest kid in the school and other Spider-Man things?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what's one thing that he's the most fucking shredded ass high schooler I've ever
That's
seen?
That's from the Spider Bite.
It's from
I know.
Bite, okay.
I know, but he's also got to be the smartest kid in school.
But that's
like I don't like him.
What I was just praising about the origin story not being there is that he was a schlubby smart dude that nobody liked, and then he does get to have the best of both.
Make him kind of a dope.
That's
my advice.
It should have been Martin Starr in that outfit.
Well, speaking of his shreddedness, I loved that Aunt May.
Jennifer Connelly was the voice of Karen. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm shocked to read that.
Betty from the Ang Lee Hulk movie, which is technically MCU,
and the wife of Vision, Paul Bentley. But anyway, that scene of Aunt May's. She opens the door in another movie. Aunt May opening the door of Spider-Man and his Peter Parker in his underwear with his best friend.
I really thought that was something.
I thought a gay joke was coming, but I think the joke was that she's just like, look, if you were fucking your friend, I don't care, but maybe put some clothes on for dinner. Like
I was like, what joke is it going to be? Is it going to be progressive? She just say, use protection, boys.
Yeah.
I thought I love that Aunt May. The casting of Aunt May was really good. At first was questionable, and I love Marissa Tomei, I always have, but Aunt May is an 80-year-old woman, or had been since 1962.
I swear to Christ, they are doing their best to unsexify Marissa Tomei because
but they
she's a
had to
good-looking
accept
lady.
it. They're like, everybody has to call her hot and talk about how hot she is. But I like that she was a former 80s party girl. That like she was just like, I know what it was like being a party girl. I did have fun like I had fun. It was not Aunt May worrying. And then that last thing of her finding out he's Spider-Man is like, oh, this really will change things from the other movies.
Yeah, no, Peter did graduate as valedictorian, says Golga Writer, but he fucking earned it as Aunt May had to serve him wheat cakes and paid rent with a side job.
So this, I actually, Bob, you're very wrong about that too, because no, I'm sorry. But Spider-Man is supposed to be a genius, or he's supposed to be a geek.
Well, they didn't really show it in the movie.
But it's one of those things. It's one of those things I just don't want to see again.
He didn't need to be the best guy on the map.
Yeah, that felt like it
what I
was
did
like
we had
did
two
you really
movies in
need
less than
that?
10 years of him starting out with glasses and getting his books dumped.
So
Right,
that's
right.
no. So he gets his glasses and books dumped. He has a super dork for like 15 minutes as Tobey Maguire. Then he's not. But then in Amazing, they're like, maybe he's kind of a dork, but actually he doesn't know anything about math. He doesn't know anything about science. He rides a skateboard. He takes vintage photographs, and like he had a fucking skateboarding montage in Amazing. So
It's the power of love.
As somebody who was pulled to Spider-Man because in the original comics, Spider-Man was a dork with glasses and brown hair. I want Spider-Man to be a big ass geek in these movies.
Yeah.
Like that is my appeal to Spider-Man.
Shinobu, I really like what he says. What I really like what they did with MJ's characterization, gave her depth beyond being the hot model trophy wife.
She was
I
funny.
think MJ has our first bird flip in the MCU.
I love that, yes.
Can't do that with Disney.
I love that she gave them the bird. I was just like, whoa, that was shocking. And yeah,
And right when she did it, I'm like, I can't wait for them to reveal she's MJ. I see this coming.
I mean, but that she wasn't. MJ has always been like the sex pot. Well, there wasn't an MJ in the Amazing movies, though they cast Shailene Woodley to be it, but they then cut her out of it.
Angel Tree says, can we talk about that post-credit cap role? I cannot believe the role they
That
paid
was
Chris
the
Evans
greatest.
to do.
I love
Patience.
that they
So
got
good.
Chris Evans. They're like, look, Chris Evans, put on your old costume. Talk in front of a green screen for 10 minutes, then you're out. We'll give you $1 million. And then they reuse it like him turning the chair around and like the real thing is to follow the rules. Like that was so fucking funny. Chris Evans knows what he's doing.
I feel like how they kind of punished you for staying. Just like, well, you're patient. Congratulations, it's a virtue.
You got
We'll
nothing.
show you nothing.
And
Yeah.
Deadpool's. Did you see Deadpool's?
No.
It's just
It's the Ferris Bueller.
It's
one.
Ferris Bueller. It's him in the
Okay.
Ferris Bueller robe. I'm like,
But
what
then
are you
he
still
says
doing
like,
here?
oh, and in the next movie's Cable.
But there's
Okay.
Ferris Bueller references in this movie too.
Yes, yeah. The Ferris Bueller run was great. I liked. They made the Vulture a good film
That
level
was
villain.
But I couldn't tell if I loved that run, that reference to Ferris Bueller, because I'm like, this is a Ferris Bueller reference. And then he jumps over a fence, and somebody is watching Ferris Bueller outside in a widescreen TV next to a pool.
I think they should have used the music, which you said they did use
did
in
in
the
the commercials.
commercial. That would have been enough, and if you were smart enough or knowledgeable enough to get it, you would have gotten it. But having the movie in the background saying, this is what's happening, this is the reference,
Yeah,
it's
I know.
a little too family
Well,
guy
kids
for me.
don't know it, man.
Well, guess what? They can know it when they're older, and they'll appreciate it like I do.
It's the former president's favorite movie.
Here was another thing.
George
I really,
W. Bush loves Ferris Bueller.
Well, he kind of is that guy.
Here was another thing I really liked in the beginning of the movie, of a thing they never did in other Spider-Man movies. When he first puts on the costume, it is an uninterrupted shot of him taking his clothes off and putting the costume on, because the secret in the other Spider-Man movies was he could never actually put on that costume in real life. It would never work, so they just have to like cut away. He couldn't even make that costume in real life.
Good point. How did the two henchmen walk around the high school undetected?
Yeah.
I was sort of curious about that. Why
When
did you have to meet them in the middle school
there should have been
bathroom?
at least one scene.
It
of
is
them
high school, but when a 50-year-old man in a suit is
with
hanging out
wearing
in
a gun.
wearing a gun,
Yeah.
yeah. That was very strange.
You can get away with a lot when your name is Happy.
Well, he probably just flashed his shield badge, just like, fuck off, I could murder you right now.
I meant
if
the
want.
henchmen. I think he would have more clearance.
Oh, yeah.
The henchmen were packing heat.
Yeah, that's true. But the henchmen looked like they were supposed to be there, I guess. But it was cool that we sort of got the Shocker, but the Shocker is a joke. He should just be like a one-scene enemy. And yeah, I want Donald Glover to be Prowler. I really do. That would be awesome. But
And I'm of two minds. The final fight. It's dark CG, which I hate.
Yeah.
But it's Bob. If you've seen the other amazing movies, it's like actor puts on a suit and then we watch a cartoon for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was like, oh, this feels like it has weight. You feel Peter Parker like hurts his back, or like he hits wrong. Like when he's thrown onto stuff, he's not totally graceful. The camera isn't flying all around. There was gravity and heft to that finale that I thought was just somehow a little better than any other Sony movie so far.
Also, I was sure they were going to take the easiest out of, and then Vulture accidentally explodes himself, death by his own hubris, and then Spider-Man saves him.
I was happy that happened. That was a good.
That was really. It would have been so easy just let him die.
Daniel Treese wants to know: are they setting up for a Sinister Six movie? They were. It was so fucking ham-fisted.
Oh man, I was just thinking about Amazing 2 today, but yeah, I guess the best Spider-Man fight scene to me is still the Dr. Octopus train ride. Like, that was the best ever in Spider-Man 2.
I'm dying to rewatch 2. I haven't seen it in years.
But I feel like I'll watch a lot of 2 and be like, speed this shit up. Let's get. But in this, they didn't feel like.
John Wheel, can we talk about the expert tone shift during the car ride? That was a beautiful
really
scene.
Good.
Is that the car ride with Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Isn't it great?
And then when the light turns red and his face lights
up
red.
His face lights up.
It's really clever.
And then when he's like, no, turn on the charm. Green light.
Yeah,
green light. That was. I don't know. That was nice.
It was a good way to figure out a secret identity.
And that's what both the Sony films and Marvel films don't do. Shit like that, like little moments like that.
I would have been. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't say I'd always complain about Spidey having unmasked fights, and the end of the movie is a mask-free fight, but barely. It's the last 2 minutes.
He's the last person with the secret identity in the MCU now that he's a part of it.
And I love that. I was sure he was going to accept that Iron Spider suit, so he'd be on the Avengers for an Infinity War, because that's the next movie Spider-Man's going to be in. And also making this an Iron Man film, fucking Gwyneth Paltrow shows up. She wasn't in Civil War. They implied in Civil War they broke up, and now she came back for this.
Was she in Age of Ultron?
Yeah, no, she was not.
Goop is failing.
Yeah.
You can only sell so many eggs you put in your vagina.
Oh, God, Goop. Why must you remind me of Goop?
Well, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw her on the screen. Like, that's the Goop lady!
Remember when Paul Giamatti was in Amazing 2? What was that? You
Jesus.
saw it on the trailers. You don't
None
have
of
to watch
that
the movie.
happened. Sony threw it in the garbage. And all hail the new MCU Spider-Man. I'm up for... I hope they own Tom Holland for the next 15 years.
That's the scary thing. This is allegedly a 2-picture deal.
For MCU connection, and then the third Spider-Man movie, it could be just made without Marvel. I hope
fine.
Sony is just like, no, okay, let's make a new deal.
You can do that occasionally. The Guardians exist in a land without other Marvel characters, and I don't know. I did because I thought from the looks of the trailers, I thought with Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in the movie. I thought they meant he was going to be in the movie the same way Scarlett Johansson is in Winter Soldier, as in the fucking co-star.
Yeah.
And he was not. He popped up. Yes, Jiminy Cricket. Like you did a bad thing, Pete.
This is some bullshit about those movies, about the trailers. Remember that awesome shot in the trailer of Spider-Man swinging next to Iron Man?
Didn't happen.
Did you ever see that in there?
I was waiting for it.
I read a whole article about it yesterday of just them admitting, like, oh yeah, it's a lie. We just made up that thing. People wanted to see it, so we put it in the trailer.
Yeah, if you want to see that scene, watch the trailer. It's free.
It was less than 1 second of special effects, so it wasn't like a major lie.
I know, but
they know what we expected from
seeing
that
shot. Like when I saw him fall in the water at night, I'm like, well, this isn't going to lead to that scene. So Iron Man's not going to rescue him. I kept waiting for that scene to happen. That's my fault. Watching trailers over and over.
But yeah, again, thumbs up. We don't want to go too much longer, but yeah, thumbs up to Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really liked it. Bob, it's his favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, he was the red guy, right? Yeah, I liked him. He was the
Before my tits get too sweaty. That's something only for the video audience. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love to do these things, so let us know if you want to see this for more movies. I want to do it with Planet of the Apes, but I doubt anybody else will, and I'm not going to push it. But we do have a Monday night movie next weekend, which is the Simpsons movie.
I know a lot about that, actually.
There you go.
That's one thing I know about the Simpsons.
So if you've enjoyed this, get 6 p.m. Pacific, Monday. Be here with a copy of the Simpsons movie, and we shall watch it together, or just join our Patreon, patreon.com/lasertime. You guys got a plug you want to get out?
Well, you will also see the commentary on our Patreon, Talking Simpsons, patreon.com/Talking Simpsons, right, Bob?
Along with like 3,000 other things you get for signing up. Lots of podcasts. There's a video there. There'll be more videos in the future. Lots of great stuff. If you love The Simpsons, you'll like what we do with it. I think so.
But our Patreon if it can be salvaged, Henry and I, not trying to compete, guys, but it's a good week to plug the Spider-Man commentary that Henry and I did.
Yes, yeah.
For an old-ass episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which just so happens to be the X-Men's first ever animated appearance.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous and lovely. It's old. Again, if you can see this, see it at Alamo Drafthouse because they have an awesome sizzle up front. The Joker, the Vulture's a dick.
Oh my god, yeah! Get there early if you can go to Alamo Drafthouse. I wish I'd gone. We'd even got there like 5 minutes earlier.
I enjoyed the bad cartoons.
Watch Turkish Spider-Man tear someone's eyes out with gerbils. Like,
and I got to tell Bob like, oh, this is a commercial for food. Like about that. I was like, oh, I like that. Remember that Spider-Man spot? Actually, I just want a banana. Like that. Look it up, Spider-Man banana commercial. It's a great commercial.
Advertising bananas.
We have been Laser Time. Tell a friend. Listen to the show. We got more Spider-Man for you, even if you just listen to this
Monday's
part.
episode. I got something ready for you guys.
All right, guys. Peace out.